So we've reached the day of harvest. Today we're going to make pesto. And as you can see, the basil, it's a nice little forest almost. Very excited to be cutting this today and making pesto. Super healthy looking, just perfect. I have to look to see how many days it's been, but I will look. Look how nice those are. So I just verified, we're at day 42. Could have done these earlier, but it just works out that today's the day. I'm going to start with just taking off the tops because I do want another harvest here. Let's see if I just take off the tops and the big leaves. Is that enough to make enough pesto? And if it's not, I can come back and take some of these smaller leaves. I have a lot of plants though, so just chopping or cutting. I don't know if you can see it, but right into the right at the stem. So you take the stem of the plant. I will take some of these older leaves too. Take the tops and the bottoms for the most part. And what's going to happen is these guys are going to grow into the next set of leaves that'll look just like these. And you honestly get great continuous harvest of basil and can continue to make pesto or whatever else. Basil is, you know, as you've seen in some of our other videos, it's great in salad. It's wonderful in a lot of things, actually. I'm trying not to get my hands in the way, but at a kind of an awkward angle here. So there are 4 plants in each one of these containers. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And so far, this is what we're looking at. Not bad. Probably, I don't know if that's a cup or not, but pretty good amount. I think we're gonna have a nice harvest here, a ton of pesto. So I'm really just gonna keep moving down the line here. Same deal, take the tops off and the big leaves. By taking the tops off first, you can actually see below the canopy a little bit. Start making better cuts. You can actually see what you're doing. I may have to check with the chef to see if this maybe turns out to be too much for today. This is a ton of basil. It smells so good. It's hydroponically grown, pesticide-free basil. Honestly, this is one of the easiest crops to grow. One of the best crops to grow too. Highly recommend it. It's easy. It takes a while. The slower grower than say the romaine or other lettuces, but fairly hardy. You feed it, keep it watered, it will continue to grow. It's one of the easier crops, especially if you're just starting out in hydroponics. This is easily one of the easier ones to start with. So we're about halfway through. You can see we filled up the bowl. Probably get a bigger bowl and keep moving along here. Boy, that's a nice big leaf right there. Look at the size of that. Some nice healthy plants right here. See this one here. Something was eating this. I think I caught him the other day. the one thing, basil's easy to grow, partly because you're not looking for a fruit. It's almost comparable to growing a lettuce, right? We're just harvesting the leaves. For the most part, they are pesticide free, but caterpillars do love them, and they will mow through them. And the way I deal with that is just come out at night with a flashlight, or even during the day, and they give themselves up by putting big holes like this in your plants or in your leaves, where they eat right through this. I bet there's some in here. Probably gonna have to look at these. Maybe they'll become part of the pesto. But I'll come out with a flashlight. I'll look during the day. You just look for the holes in the leaves, and it's usually going to be a caterpillar. I do chase moths, even butterflies. People love butterflies. Learn to not like them as much, but just partly because they will come in and mow through your tomatoes, your basil, your lettuce in hours, overnight. You come out and they've done a job on your plants on your garden, and it's very frustrating. All right, I had to empty the bowl again, and we're in the home stretch here. So we filled up 2 of those smaller bowls. I've got a bigger bowl next to me, or behind me actually, that is putting it into, but pretty good harvest here. Tempted to weigh it. I never do that, but there's a lot of basil here. So this was, how many was this? 24 plants. Now they're not obviously full grown. You can get more out of your basil if you pinch it actively and kind of keep teaching it or training it to spread out. These are fairly vertical. They're in a small space. There's 4 plants per pot lid. So it's, if you're in in an apartment, or don't have a ton of space, or just want to conserve your space, these lids are pretty good, and you can get quite a bit out of 4 plants, as we saw earlier. But we're almost done here. Haven't found any worms. Seen some damage, but haven't seen any worms. Now, by harvesting them like this, this does kind of train them to spread. So probably within a week, we won't have double this, but there's going to be a lot of leaves that we could harvest again. We'll add those to our salads like we normally do. Probably give some away. So yeah, I think that's good for now. So here's the harvested basil. Here's what we have left. You can see they'll still have quite a few leaves on them. Could keep going if I wanted to, but those are just going to get bigger, and they'll be good for salads or another batch of pesto. Cannot overemphasize enough how good it is to grow basil hydroponically. Pesticide-free hydroponic basil. All right, so here's our basil. The bowl's huge. I don't know how big this bowl is, but it's pretty good size. It's got to be at least 18 inches or so. So this stuff smells amazing. Hydroponically grown, pesticide-free basil. So the final part of our pesto making process. Or make pesto today. That's up next. It's an amazing thing, though. You just can't get better basil than your own hydroponically grown basil.